Hello YouTube, it is Runa here. Yes, you cannot see me, but I have decided that I'm going to make good on my promise. I don't remember what video it was, but I said I wanted to make something on powdered eggshells. So, therefore, I'm going to do that. And as you can see, this is my big jar filled with powdered eggshell, and I wanted to make a video on uses that I've heard of and used them for, and how to go about preparing them. So here, I have two little bowls here. Eggshells. This, along with what's in these two things, and that's incense and stuff of things. So, don't worry about that. I need to clean out that salt soon. But this is almost a dozen eggs, just shy of a dozen. This is a collection, almost completely dehydrated now since I did these last night, of the membranes that are inside of the shells. So when you crack your eggs open and you have that weird little snotty membrane, that is what you want to pull out. So if you're not going to do them right away, so say you make a big breakfast and you use a dozen or 9 or even 6 eggs or whatever else, and you're cooking. So what I will recommend you doing to wash them out, wash out the actual egg and get rid of the residual egg white, so it's not all icky and gross, and it doesn't get all smelly and everything else, and dirty. Then sit them into some water. Like, I had a couple of them. I had about 3 in here, and I had this little container full of water, and I was able to leave that there till I was ready to use it within about a day or so. I haven't gone for more than about a day doing it this way, and it keeps them rehydrated so that I can pull them out easily. Now this is way more than just 3. Now yesterday we had a big breakfast, so we used 9 eggs between my family and I, so that's where most of these came from. So I got done pulling all these out, and it's either kind of pink-ish. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but they're more white now. They're less hydrated, but they'll turn a white color as they slowly dry out. So you don't want those in your powdered eggshells or Cascarilla powder, because you will not be able to crush them down and get it into powder form right. They will congeal, and it's gonna be messy. So you want to pull those out. So push this back. Now you got all your eggshells, and as you saw a moment ago, the mortar and the pestle. I've not tried this with any kind of food processor or herb grinder or anything. I don't have access to those things at the moment, so I do it the old-fashioned way with some, elbow grease. Why not? And it puts more love into doing things by hand. More love, more energy, more power, I think. So, therefore, I've taken just a bit and I powdered these up. This took me maybe 2 minutes or so in all to get these ground down to a fine powder. Now you'll notice that's not much at all. It's not very much, and you're like, but Runa, that's going to take me forever. It's going to take you some time if you want it to be powdery like this. So let me just dip my finger in, and you see it's left with residue and the white cloud, just as if I were to poof up some baby powder or some talcum powder. So it takes some work, but it's worth it, because this stuff is good stuff. It's very, very powerful stuff. It's very good for the environment. It's natural. Before I get into the process of grinding and such, which I won't be able to show you the full grinding of getting it down, because I don't have a setup or a rig to hold my phone. So I'll just talk to you here. Now, these are good for a couple different things. You can use them for positive things. You can use them for more baneful things. Now, the story behind them basically is surrounding them being a shell. They're a barrier. So, you have... See, I have a more whole one? I don't think I do. But you have the barriers. The shell is meant to protect the egg. right? So in the same way, we can use that in protection work for us. So, if you want to use that in various protection powders, or if you want to be like me and some others and make eggshell chalk out of it, and you see a little specks of things, I've added other things into this, but this is eggshell chalk made with full moon water, a few different herbs I have written down somewhere, and eggshell and flour. And it's all mixed together and then dried out for a couple days. As you can see, I didn't really put it in a mold. I just kind of rolled it out in between my fingers and went for paper towel and let it dry for a day or two. And then it was nice and firm, nice and hard, and it does right. But yeah, so you can use that for this. You can use these to make your circles or draw sigils on hard surfaces. I've never tried it on a chalkboard. I don't know if it works. I've been told that these types of chalks don't work on chalkboards. You can try it for yourself. If you know, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to know. I don't have a regular chalkboard here. I only have dry erase boards. So, yeah. I don't have any chalkboards. I don't go to a school that has chalkboards either. I'm in college, by the way. So, I'm no kid. Don't worry, I'm not a kid. Yes, you can use this for drawing sigils, drawing your circle, and protecting yourself. As well, I heard that eggshells, and being composting with eggshells, and then through forums and other things, say we do our rituals outside, right? Many of us pagans and spiritualists like to do that, which is beautiful. And if you can get outside and do a ritual, please do. It's gorgeous. And I know it's hard for some people to do, which is understandable. I live in a tight-knit community, so thankfully I haven't had anybody walk in, like my neighbors walk into my yard or come up to me and be like, "What are you doing? What is this? Are you some kind of an evil devil worshiper or some shit?" I have a neighbor that would probably do that. Ugh. Anyway, story time for later. I should also tell stories about times that I've had people walk in on my rituals. Actually, funny and cringy. And you will have these happen. I promise that you will. At least once or twice in your life. Maybe more, depending on who you live with. Because we don't always have the time and luxury of doing rituals home alone or while we live alone. So, yeah. But anyway, what I was getting at with the whole environment thing is that using eggshells as your protection powder and your barrier instead of salt is much better for the grass and the plants around you. So using a salt barrier around your property or around your space, that will repeatedly kill the grass. You don't want to do that. So say you're making a barrier for your house. I've seen people use sand before. I would probably want to mix something like powdered eggshell into it for both protection and, help the plants a little bit, It's good stuff. Nature is good. Nature is great. I love you, Earth. So, yes, so protection. And it's good stuff. It's very good stuff. And, it's easy to come by because you go to your supermarket and you go get some. And before anybody wonders, you don't have to worry about using white only. You can use brown just fine. Your chalk will be a little tinted, but that's not a problem. I have actually... Oh, that's a truck, if you heard that. I have brown chalk somewhere, but it's not within my reach, and I don't want to go grab it. Well, actually, let me get it. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it. Haha, victory is mine. This is eggshell chalk made with brown eggs. There's also cinnamon in here, and I think there might be a little bit of white in here too. I'm not sure. It looks like it, but I have that written down. But this one was maybe yay big. So it's lasted me a while. So I've used it for drawing protective sigils and stuff. But it's good stuff. So you can use the brown or you can use the white. Side by side comparison, both work perfectly fine, and Both are very hard. Both are very, very effective. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Always. Okay, so let's see. For barriers, that's good. Protection. Now let's talk about something like hot foot powder. Oh, yes, hot foot powder. This is mine. Homemade. And that's just the label telling me what it is. And yes, it's masking tape. I'm cheap. I don't know where my labels are. I think they may have been hidden. Fairies, if you've taken my labels, please return them. Anyway, fairies like to hide stuff, if you didn't know that. But, as you can see, they're a little bit more coarse in here. I believe I made this batch before I had a mortar and pestle, because it was harder to find in my area, but, just get a little bit out there. And I don't know where to put this now. Oh, that's okay. You know what? Be a little bit slick. Grab the top of my cauldron and put it in there. That works. So, yes, I have a tiny cauldron. But that's what my hot foot powder looks like. I have salt in there, various chilies in there, stuff like that. Hot foot powder is good for banishing things, getting rid of things. Now, the reason why we call it hot foot powder is one of the classical uses of it is to sprinkle it in the footsteps of someone that you want to get rid of. So they'll walk through it. So as they're coming, just casually sprinkle yourself a little bit of hot foot powder and have them walk in it. And they will leave you alone. They will go away. I like to use it as a candle dressing too. And this stuff is potent. So this isn't just your run-of-the-mill banishing powder. This is banishing with a kick, if you want to be subtle. So essentially, if you want to get someone to leave you alone, use some banishing stuff. If you want to get someone to leave you alone while shoving a hot poker up their ass, use hot foot powder. So, abusive ex not leaving you alone, stalker, someone doing that, dress yourself a candle, or go where you know they'll walk, and do yourself a little sprinkling, and see where it goes. Good luck. But the reason we put powdered eggshell into that is because not only can it be used for protecting, it can be used for breaking protection. So, breaking barriers, making barriers. Good stuff. Versatile. It's also used for protection in practices like hoodoo. Like, people will put it on their head and go to sleep if they're trying to protect or cleanse, and they'll wrap their head and everything. I like to anoint my third eye with a little bit of it, and that's part of why I like it to be extra powdered. But my tip for you, I don't really know where to put this anywhere, or else I would show you full demonstration on camera. But my demonstration to you to get this to demonstration recommendation is the word I was looking for. There you go. To get this into a really powdered form, to where you can go run your finger through it and have that kind of nice powdered, baby powder like residue, is small batches. So you've got this little crucible looking thing, and I've got it fairly fine there, but not as fine as I'd like. So we can get to focus. There we go. So what I will be doing is popping a little bit of extra in there, or a little bit more in there each time. So this is where I like it. So this will go right into the batch here. As you can see, sometimes this is so powdered that it gets stuck up in here. If you just take your pestle here, see, it makes a lot of noise. That's why you want to hold it, and you can tap it out and pop that back in. But obviously I'll do the rest of that in a second. So small batches. It doesn't take very long to get this powdered. This will take you a little while, a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of love, but it's worth it. So, any questions, comments, concerns, check a comment down below, email me, check the description for links of interest. If you're looking for services of any kind, hit me up on Facebook. Subscribe if you like what you see. Have a lovely day.